This is episode number 193 of the Middle Country Public Library podcast. Hello and welcome. I'm Sal DiVincenzo, joined, as usual, by my effervescent and fabulous colleagues, Sara Fade.
Hi.
And Nicole Rambo.
Hello.
And it's October. It's Spooktober, as we like to say here at the library. And last year we did something kind of cool.
Yeah.
We had the both of you actually read from some scary stories, scary books, and we put some music there, some little background noises and whatnot. We made a little show out of it. So we're gonna have this. This is our second annual version of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I didn't pick any. I wanted to pick stories that I had sound effects in it. You get, but I don't know if I did. So you're gonna have some work to do.
All right. I may have work to do. It's okay. So Halloween's a couple weeks away. We might as well have some fun with it, right? Mm-hmm. All right. Sarah, why don't you go first? You got a couple of books here.
Yeah, I just have two.
Okay. Let's hear what you got.
Okay. The first book is called The Maidens. It's a novel by Michaelides. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, but...
It sounds right.
It sounds right, yeah. He wrote the very popular book, The Silent Patient, which is it was a super blockbuster. And
I was thinking The English Patient. I was like, that's not scary.
Scary to some people. Just a little bit about this. A spellbinding tale of psychological suspense, weaving together Greek mythology, murder, and obsession.
Wow.
So it's new fiction.
Nice.
Hot off the presses, all right? So I'll just read a little bit for you.
Nice.
To get, your appetite wet for the book. What is the award for audiobooks?
Odyssey Award?
Yes, I'm not an Odyssey Award winning.
You never know. This could be it. This could be it. Here we go.
I want to be a voice actor, read stories.
Didn't you just apologize?
Screaming, I'd be like, please turn the volume down before you begin.
You know what? I'm sure there are some characters where they need your voice. They're like, you know what? Sure. We need a specialist. Bring in that Rambo. So here we go. Mariana started walking away from the body. She felt physically sick. She had to put some distance between herself and what she had seen. She wanted to get away, but she knew there was no running away. It was a sight that would haunt her for the rest of her days. The blood, the head, those gaping eyes. Stop it, she thought. Stop thinking. She kept walking until she reached a rickety wooden fence, forming a boundary between this field and the next. It felt unsteady and liable to collapse. She leaned against it, flimsy support, but better than nothing. You all right? Julian appeared at her side. He gave her a concerned look. Mariana nodded. She realized her eyes were full of tears. She brushed them away, embarrassed. I'm fine. When you've seen as many crime scenes as I have, you get used to it. For what it's worth, I think you're brave. Mariana shook her head. I'm not. Not at all. Blah, 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 blah. So that was the little...
Is the blah, 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 blah part actually in there?
Yeah, it's the ... dots.
Oh, I see.
For people who want to know what is with the blood, the head, and those gaping eyes, you will have to take a look.
Out?
Yeah, and this is chapter 2.
Okay.
Part 2. Sorry.
Part 2.
Nice.
Nice. Of The Maidens.
The Maidens. So the next book is by Alma, Katsu. I think I talked about this book before. It's called The Hunger. It's about supernatural Donner Party.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So R.L. Stine, right? I'm sure who you know, Nicole.
Yeah, there's an
Hey.
R.L. Stine book on the table.
So he says of Alma Katsu has taken one of the darkest and most chilling episodes in our history and made the story even darker, even more terrifying. I swear I'm still shuddering. A fantastic read.
Whoa.
That's high praise from the R.L. Stine. A little tidbit from The Hunger. He felt this scream as much as he heard it. He knew her voice, felt her cry in his body, as if it were a message meant for him. He reached for the pistol lying on top of his clothing, but didn't stop for anything else. He sprinted in the direction of her voice. Mary Graves. She was on her back in the dirt, scrabbling backward. The shock of seeing her that way was nothing compared to the surprise of seeing a man standing over her. He was filthy, his skin nearly leprous from neglect, his eyes red and wet. The stink coming off him was overpowering and nearly made Stanton choke. These thoughts passed through Stanton's mind in an instant. Later he would remember nothing but a vision of two scabrous hands gripping Mary's shoulders before he drew a bead and squeezed up 2 shots automatically. That is just a small little snippet of The Hunger.
Nice. Sounds interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to read like a whole chapter, but short little tidbits
We'll
of...
put those in the show notes, so if folks are interested,
And I
they
know
could reserve a copy.
they had some nice wordage in there. And so the Maiden is sort of like suspense, murder, mystery.
Okay.
Nothing supernatural about it. It's just like a detective whodunit, edge of your seat thriller.
Okay.
And The Hunger is a supernatural, historical, I would say horror.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much,
You're
Sarah.
welcome.
I'm sure that award is on its way.
Yes, for my...
Yes, yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Nicole,
Yes.
what do you have for us this year?
So we have over, in our adult has it too. And we have in children's, it's like a special section where we pull books, about the holidays. So we have like spooky book, right? You have that too.
Well, we have a little display.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have a little display, and we have a lot of like nonfiction stuff on what Halloween is. But we kind of know what Halloween is here.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to just one nonfiction thing I want to talk about because it is Hispanic Heritage Month this year, and Day of the Dead or Dia de los Muertos, which is like not Halloween. It falls very near it. It's on the November 1st and 2nd. So sometimes people, I don't want to get confused, but they think it might just be Halloween in Mexico or in South American countries, but it's not. It's different. So this is just a little bit about what the Day of the Dead is. The Day of the Dead is an ancient holiday that is celebrated on November 1st and 2nd. Ancient Aztecs were the first to honor their relatives who had died. Later, the Spanish brought their religious holidays that honored the dead to Mexico. Today, Day of the Dead is a tradition blended from both cultures. Day of the Dead is a happy time when Mexicans celebrate the lives of relatives or friends who have died. Graveyards and homes are decorated with flowers and skeletons. Some believe that the dead return to visit them during this festive time. Families get together for picnics at graveyards to make the spirits of the dead feel welcome. So, and Day of the Dead food include candies that are skeleton-shaped and a special coffee cake called Bread of the Dead. That's what Day of the Dead. So I know the sugar skull is kind of like the symbol now, like it's very popular. And that's kind of what it's representing and what it means. So it's more of a remembering relatives that have passed away. And if you've seen Coco, right?
Yes.
Well, I refuse to watch it because I'm just going to cry and I don't feel the need.
No, I don't think you'll cry. I don't think you'll cry.
I will be hysterically sobbing.
I don't think so.
No.
I do. I know.
Well,
I've seen like one. I heard one song and I started crying.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah. No, I think.
Yeah, no, it's a cute movie.
Yeah.
And it's actually
It's
it's
cute.
All Saints and All Souls Day, at least in Italy, and
Okay,
on
yeah.
All Souls Day, which is the 2nd, it also the same thing. Over there, we clean the graves. We, a lot of at least in Sicily, where my family's from, we have the mausoleums. So we open the crypt, clean it out, put the flowers down, and then everybody just kind of sits around and remembers. And
Because Halloween is like the eve.
Different.
it's the eve,
of
yes, of
what
this,
like
yes.
they're celebrating that the spirits
Exactly.
can come back and
Yeah.
like be with them.
Exactly.
So like kind of so I thought that was interesting. And now for my readings. I can't help myself. I love Alvin Schwartz, and this is more scary stories to tell in the
Okay.
dark. There's a million.
He has the market, though, on that.
Yes.
I have this, and then I have a R.L. Stine for our older readers. These are like short, just creepy ones. And then there's like Sara mentioned R.L. Stine, who's like of Goosebumps fame, but he also has this Fear Street series and stuff like that. So, okay, but this is from Alvin Schwartz from More Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I'll read 2 of them. They're short.
Cool.
This one's called The Bride. The minister's daughter had just gotten married. After the wedding ceremony, there was a great feast with music and dancing and contests and games, even old children's games. When they got to playing hide and seek, the bride decided to hide in her grandfather's trunk up in the attic. They'll never find me here, she thought. As she was climbing into the trunk, the lid came down and cracked her on the head, and she fell unconscious inside. The lid slammed shut and locked. No one will ever know how long she called for help or how hard she struggled to free herself from that tomb. Everyone in the village searched for her, and they looked almost everywhere, but no one thought of looking in the trunk. After a week, her brand new bridegroom and all the others gave her up for lost. Years later, a maid went into the attic looking for something she needed. Maybe it's in the trunk, she thought. She opened it and screamed. There lay the missing bride in her wedding dress, but by then she was only a skeleton. Oh, poor bride.
Wait a second. That's it? That's the end?
Yeah. But they're short.
Don't you know these stories?
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's awful.
I know.
I'm sorry. You go up in the attic. You look around.
A week? That was all they gave her. They gave her a week.
Yeah, I know. That's right. Yeah. Like, oh, well, guess she's gone. I kind of think about, like, back then, they kind of gave up pretty quickly.
Yeah, probably.
Right? When you think about it, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, these things happen.
Yeah.
Right? Where today, like, literally, like, 6 hours, people are calling the police. I'd like to file a missing person report.
Yeah.
It's like, ma'am, they're just at...
You have to wait.
Yeah,
right?
you're
Like,
supposed to wait like 24 hours over it.
It's like crazy.
But now you have like so much technology that like if you can't get a hold of someone, you get nervous because like
It's true.
you know the phone could just be dead or whatever. But
That's true.
this one's called The Wreck. Fred and Jeannie went to the same high school, but they met for the first time at the Christmas dance. Fred had come by himself, and so had Jeannie. Soon, Fred decided that Jeannie was one of the nicest girls he had ever met. They danced together most of the evening. At 11 o'clock, Jeannie said, "I have to leave now. Can you give me a ride?" "Sure," he said. "I've got to go home too." "I accidentally drove my car into a tree on my way here," Jeannie said. "I guess I wasn't paying attention." Fred...
Matter of factly.
By the
way. And my wallet was in the car.
Fred drove her to the head of Brady Road. It was in a neighborhood he didn't know very well. "Why don't you drop me off here?" Jeannie said. "The road up ahead is in really bad condition. I can walk from here." Fred stopped the car and held out some tinsel. "Have some," he said. "I got it at the dance." "Thank you," she said. "I'll put it in my hair." And she did. "Would you like to go out sometime? To a movie or something?" Fred asked. "That would be fun," Jeannie said. After Fred drove off, he realized that he did not know Jeannie's last name or her telephone number. "I'll go back," he thought. "The road can't be that bad." He drove slowly down Brady Road through a thick woods, but there wasn't a sign of Jeannie. As he came around a curve, he saw the wreckage of a car ahead. It had crashed into a tree and had caught fire. Smoke was still rising from it. As Fred made his way to the car, he could see someone trapped inside, crushed against the steering column. It was Jeannie, and in her hair was the Christmas tinsel he had given her.
Aw.
That's creepy.
I know, right?
Wow.
Sad. There's a theme here. Women ending up very dead.
Yeah, I sense a theme here.
Alvin. And then this one's for older like young teens, so not YA, but like young teens. So this is the R.L. Stine Fear Street, and it's called Halloween Party. And this is just like a snippet from the middle of the book. So these kids go to a Halloween party. After he had got over his fright, Terry found the pendant around the mannequin's neck. He laughed and added it to the rest of his loot. He heard a couple of other treasure hunters coming his way, then remembered that Justine had said her Uncle Philip was preparing some surprises in the attic. He searched and found a narrow staircase leading upstairs. Oh, nothing good happens in the attic. Mounting the dark, creaky stairs to the attic, his heart thudded with anticipation and a little thrill of fear. What treasures would he find up there? What scares? This was definitely the best party he'd ever been to. The attic was small and dusty and filled with old boxes and trunks. Terry realized from the thick layer of dust on the boxes and trunks that they had been sealed up long ago. There's probably a woman inside. One of them.
Yeah, exactly.
He switched on the overhead light and spotted a closet door, a perfect place to hide items on the list, he thought. Grinning to himself, Terry pulled open the door, then stopped and stared in shock. "No! Oh, please, no!" The room went white. Terry's breath caught in his throat. He gripped the closet door to hold himself up and stared into the shadowy cubicle. So you have to find out what happens to Terry.
Oh, poor Terry.
Poor Terry. Mm-hmm. And then a YA book that is good. It's not a YA book, right? It's Carrie, which isn't technically a YA book, but a lot of people say if it was written now, it would be considered a YA book. Because Stephen King wasn't Stephen King when he wrote Carrie. but the book
He was who?
like he was Stephen King, but he wasn't as famous as Stephen. He wasn't the famous Stephen King. Thank you. So, but the point is, a lot of people say
His
that
name was
it
Bob.
kind of
Bob King.
that it fits a YA type of theme. Like a lot of like YA stuff happens. And I looked on Common Sense Media and it says, so it's our older YA, but Common Sense Media puts it at 14 and up. Parents put it at 13 and up. So
Have you read it?
no, you know what's funny? I started reading it and I've seen the movie. It's different. Like the description of her in the book is very different than what's her face in the movie.
Sissy Spacek.
Sissy Spacek. Yeah, because she's supposed to be like in the book. She's like chubby and she has like pimples and like I think and Sissy Spacek was like a beanpole.
Yeah.
And like she's like attractive. Like she had a different look, but she was like.
Oh, it's Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know, that's what Hollywood does.
What a good movie though. And then they remade it. Why?
What are you gonna do?
They remake everything.
Money.
I know, but it's so
Yeah.
good. But anyway, so that's a
Cool.
YA one if you're.
Thank you very much, Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read something.
All right.
Yay.
All right. I'm going to read a poem.
Perm.
I wrote it myself. No, I'm
Can
just
me
kidding.
and Sarah put the sound effects behind this one?
Oh, this will be good. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna be like
That'd
fart
go
noises.
well. Oh, Sal. You know we were going to do that. So this is by Longfellow, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, and it's titled Haunted Houses. And I just like this first line because it's just like very definite. All houses wherein men have lived and died are haunted houses. Boom. There you go.
Is that the poem?
That's it.
Yeah.
FYI.
Yeah.
Through the open doors, the harmless phantoms on their errands glide, with feet that make no sound upon the floors. We meet them at the doorway, on the stair, along the passages they come and go, impalpable impressions on the air, a sense of something moving to and fro. There are more guests at table than the hosts. Invited, the illuminated hall is thronged with quiet, inoffensive ghosts, as silent as the pictures on the wall. The stranger at my fireside cannot see the forms I see, nor hear the sounds I hear, but he perceives what is, while unto me all that is visible and clear. We have no title deeds to house or lands. Owners and occupants of earlier dates from graves forgotten stretch their dusty hands and hold in mortmain still their old estates. The spirit world around this world of sense floats like an atmosphere, and everywhere wafts through these earthly mists and vapors dense a vital breath of more ethereal air. Our little lives are kept in equipoise by opposite attractions and desires, the struggle of the instinct that enjoys, and the more noble instinct that aspires. These perturbations, this perpetual jar
Scary how many words I don't know.
of earthly wants and aspirations high come from the influence of an unseen star, an undiscovered planet in our sky. And as the moon from some dark gate of cloud throws o'er the sea a floating bridge of light, across whose trembling planks our fancies crowd into the realm of mystery and night. It's almost over, Sarah. So from the world of spirits there descends a bridge of light connecting it with this, o'er whose unsteady floor that sways and bends wander our thoughts above the dark abyss.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He likes his gentleman ghosts.
He likes
That's all I have to say. That's what I got from that poem.
Yes, it's
Not
like
scared of them.
yes.
Like, all right.
All right. What was all that noise upstairs? It was my gentleman ghost friend.
Don't you worry.
Yes. Well, yes. So thank you very much, ladies, for reading.
Yeah,
It was very cool, and we'll try to do this again next year. Hopefully, we'll put in the show notes last year's show because that was pretty cool too. Yeah. And if you want to listen to older episodes or read those show notes, you go to our website, mcplpodcast.com. Email us, podcast@mcplibrary.org. Like this video if you're watching on YouTube. Share this video if you're watching on YouTube. See, that's something new.
Share.
The sharing. Yes, you share it. Hit the share button.
Nicole doesn't know that word.
I'm going to add it to my list.
are making share.
I don't know. Like, yeah, I guess, but I don't.
Yes, share it with your friends. Say,
I
hey,
understand what that one means.
Listen to this.
I was confused by the poem, but I got share.
And yes, so thank you for listening. For Sarah Fade and Nicole Rambo, I'm Sal DiVincenzo. We'll see you on the next show.